Okay, do not split. We are live.
Hello. No.
Yes.
Okay, hello. Let me know if you can hear me. I once again cannot see the fucking chat.
You're not
God damn
missing
it.
anything.
Yeah, but there is like a bug on
Just
the...
careful what you're showing, please, brother.
Yeah, it's all the porn websites. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna use a different browser. Sign in the chat. Hi, let me know if you can
Yeah,
hear
they
me.
can hear us. Let's go.
Is someone typing in
Yes,
the chat?
correct.
Shit, I cannot see that. Well, that's live. Okay, yeah, nice, I see that. Okay, hello. It's Monday. It's the what is it called? It's Easter Monday. Anyway, hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of the Musical Chairs. As always, we are going to talk about some coins and stuff for the next 60 minutes. Before we do so, the stream is sponsored by Woo, as always. Thank you, Woo. And if you want to show us some support, you can make a new account on Woo using the first link you see in the description. After you open your first trade, you will get a bunch of benefits which you can see at the bottom of the screen. With all that being said, we can take a look at some of the markets for today, and we are going to be starting with BTC as kind of always we do here. So if you
Yep.
switch to my screen, okay, nice. I have a light theme now, so sorry for all the burnt eyes. Um, but yeah, let's talk about Bitcoin. We are, and I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself once again. We are in this kind of period of BTC. Basically, last Monday, you can see, which I believe, yeah, was right here. We were basically at the same price as we are right now. Monday before that, we were kind of at a very similar price, which was right here.
It's been fucking nothing
So
burger lately for
yeah,
BTC.
it's basically has been really nothing when it comes to BTC. We had some of the rallies in altcoins. I feel like these are dying as well. We are going to be kind of talking about them a little bit. To be fair, it's been a kind of a um, on-chain casino with all the meme coins. I feel like at this point, crypto is just meme coins on-chain on either Solana or Base or maybe some other chain. They even made something like a degen chain or what the name of that was. So yeah, definitely the most kind of fun I feel like was is on chain still. Which to be fair, I saw some people complain that it's just like all the meme coins and there's like no real value or whatever. But this is just kind of keeps showing that the crypto, the main purpose of crypto is just to make money. It's just a gamble, and people don't really care about much of the tech and any kind of use cases and so on and so forth. So with all that being said, let's talk about Bitcoin. To be fair, I don't really like to talk about stuff which I don't actively trade. There hasn't been really much on BTC where I would take a trade. We basically, if you take a look at the daily time frame, we broke the market structure on the daily chart. A couple of weeks ago and came into the retest of this kind of a all-time high consolidation. You can see this kind of sideways price action. We tested this, made this like a quadruple top basically, and sold off from there. Um, it's also, I believe, there is like a previous all-time high somewhere in this section. Yeah, it's kind of right here as well at 69K. We are losing that again. So like I said, I don't really love to talk about stuff that I don't trade. And BTC has been definitely the market that I haven't traded for quite a while. If you're gonna take a look at this top right screen, this is the yearly VWAP with the one standard deviation band. You can basically see that this kind of acted as support on the way up, which you will very often see with the trending markets. these kind of +1 standard deviation bands basically providing a support. I was mostly in the kind of opinion that as long as we are not kind of accepting back inside, I don't really want to be shorting this. I can maybe show you some example from the prior years, although there is not that many. I believe we had some action in 2022 where this kind of acted, but this was most like a range bound environment, so nothing that accurate there. But yeah, I'm personally not really sure what I would do here. I still think that any kind of deeper correction when it comes to Bitcoin is a good buying opportunity. We mentioned this a few weeks ago that even if we would go down, under 60 again into like 50s area, I still believe that it's a great buy, especially low 50s would I think be a good buy. There is this weekly kind of a gap, this very one-sided move right here. Let me just kind of throw it across all the time frames. Basically, underneath these lows, this would be kind of the first place where I would like to buy Bitcoin. And this is exactly the same thing which I said last week. I know it's kind of boring and unfortunate. Like I said last week, we were basically right here, and I said that if we dip underneath 60K, I would be looking for longs. It didn't happen. In the last 7 days. It might not happen in the next 7 days, but it's really the kind of a highest probability area for me to look for trades. And yeah, I don't really plan to rush into things. When it comes to shorting, if this move has a legs to the downside, that's obviously kind of possible, but I just don't love how flat these highs are. Obviously, if you were shorting somewhere in this area and sitting in the trade, that's I think pretty good spot. But I'm not sure if I would be just jumping into shorts right now. So yeah, maybe Runner has some more interesting stuff to say
I'll
for
switch to
Bitcoin.
mine. I'll switch to mine
Yeah,
really quickly.
we have a halving coming as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I know you hate monthly, but we made like 7th or whatever monthly candle in a row, and obviously it's first, so it isn't that, how to say it, on higher time frames. On Monday, on first of day of the month, you will not have much information, but I think it was Delta. Like we bottomed in 2023 on, like remember when a lot of the traders, when me and you were coming up, I guess on CT, is basically that like when you have a flat open on a monthly candle like this, like it has to trade through it,
yeah,
and it never
yeah,
did. And now
yeah.
you have the same situation, obviously day one, so take it with a pinch of salt. But no, like higher time frames look ridiculous. Same for you with the VWAP and whatnot. I guess I could quickly look at Pierre's H4 trends. Like
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
story short,
this
yeah,
has been quite accurate. The
yeah.
EMAs, whatnot, in markets like these, these are pretty solid. Yeah.
And I think the kind of takeaway so we can finally move on. Again, as Adam said, BTC is not that hot right now. Like right now, we lost the moving averages, and like these are getting compressed a little bit, which I mean by definition, basically a month of sideways. So I would love to see some continuation, or like, the whole auction market theory and whatnot. Like I just want this to continue, narratively speaking, into the halving, which is now like 18 days away. When you think about it, that's that's very close.
Isn't
And
that like almost like played out a little bit? I mean, it's still 17 days. Obviously, it's quite a long time. A lot of things can happen in 17 days, but at the same time, with the event which is like so well known in advance, obviously, like we know all the halvings when they're gonna happen, and we had this kind of a huge rally. Is it, like I'm just wondering if there is like a possibility that this kind of a huge rally, the halving rally, with the ETFs, if it's not just kind of like done at this point.
yeah, I mean, if it's priced in, I think yes. But if I had a crystal ball, I would not be streaming here. Generally speaking, I kind of, in some of my personal streams, I kind of made this thesis that I expect halving to be like a local top, sell the news type of thing because that's the only thing my retarded ass knows is to short. So, uh, so and even like, or even from like momentum or strength perspective,
Um,
would you call this strong right now? I would not, especially with
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like personally, like I feel like obviously halving is bullish for BTC, is bullish for coins related to Bitcoin, but it's just like this kind of long term thing. And if there would be, yeah, if there would be some sort of sell off, I just kind of comes back to the point that I feel like Bitcoin, obviously, if you look at monthly charts, if you look at weekly charts, we are in like a huge uptrend. There is no way denying that. There is no reason to think this is going back to fixing that flat open at 16K or whatever. But at the same time, I just like obviously markets tend to not to go in one straight line always to the upside, so there will be some sort of like a what do you call it, lower high situation where obviously everyone is going to panic, but it would be definitely a great buy in my opinion.
I mean, as you said, I kind of really want to move on from Bitcoin because it's fucking boring. But you said, like the low 50s area. I know people will be like, yo, we didn't have correction like that in years. But I think the value here is, or like the idea is to take the best setups, not to be always in a position. And this is why so many people are getting fucked on daily basis. Like, if you look at liquidations, like how the fuck did like $330 million worth of positions were liquidated today? Like,
Yeah,
Bitcoin moved like it's just my brain cannot comprehend level of retardation.
yeah,
So, and
yeah.
like and even just a thought of this going, let's say we have like a 10% red day on BTC. Like, are we talking like $3 billion for, what I mean? And just
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I just was thinking about this in like my trading ever since I just switched to like higher time frames, and I rarely look underneath the like H4 charts. This is basically the H4 chart, which is this chart right on the right bottom side is like highest that I tend to look. Like I even like forgot to kind of realize how much people just getting liquidated, getting chopped out, going back and forth in such a small kind of meaningless per se, type of range, basically.
yeah, I mean, let's move on out of
Yeah,
BTC.
let's move on. Let's take a look at ETH for a second, which never fails to, not underperform in any type of situation. Um, Yeah, ETH is definitely, looking much weaker. You can see basically BTC almost hitting the all-time high structure, breaking above that kind of a VWAP band. ETH at the time is, basically this kind of a plus one standard deviation acted here as a resistance. We are selling down from that. ETH is just, kind of continues to be shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which
Yeah,
is also the, the kind of a I don't know. You definitely have some more insights on the ETF, and we had some updates and some SEC lawsuits and all of that. So that would be definitely more interesting to hear. But from my like personal point of view, um, I don't know. Like I abandoned the ETH BTC trade. Personally, I don't feel like bothering. Basically, the last time I took long was here.
that
I was
daily
kind of
chart is it's
yeah, I was kind of just betting on this kind of re-acceptance back inside this BUF band and rotation basically towards the at least the upper side. You can see that we just like closed into it and started dying right away. For me, ETH BTC is kind of done. I'm not interested in trying to do anything. It's also for some reason still very crowded trade on CT. People kind of tend to not move on. Um, but yeah, ETH is just looking weaker. Basically, it's a weaker pair.
I mean,
With
it
that
was
being,
all cycle, right? So
yeah, and but also with that being said, I cannot say that I have that much of a setup here to just like short ETH right away. Um, yeah. I don't know, not really interested in BTC and also not really interested in ETH. I had a kind of ETH long setup in this area, and after that, nothing really for me. So
From my side on ETH, I guess the only kind of like the big narrative was the restaking thing, but it's basically everything. You know, the whole staking restaking shit is they have their respective tokens themselves, meaning nobody's. I mean, by definition and by performance, you can see, you know, like it's not what I think if I'm being emotional or whatnot. Shit is just underperformed everything, right? So, you know, why would people buy ETH if they can buy what the fuck ever is like EtherFi and,
yeah,
you know, all these new listings basically of like related to ETH. And Jesus fuck, it's disgusting. But yeah, basically, I think, I mean, it's been the definite most mid-curve trade of the cycle, like by far, ETH BTC, and yet somehow we managed to make quite a lot of money. I like that it's being like memed, like I'm still holding, but I'll happily embrace it because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
chilling for years because of this trade, and I'm getting mocked still, so that's fine.
Yeah. Like for me, I was buying ETH here when we kind of first tested the area. This was like awesome trade. I bought some here, hoping that this is it. This didn't happen. Bought here. This was definitely not it. So yeah, I usually have this kind of like when I have an area which I want to work with when it comes to like taking trades, which was obviously this kind of weekly level right here into basically this kind of after we had this huge pump on a daily kind of origin of the move. Like I tend to give trades like three attempts, like work one area basically for 3 times, which is here and here. Like I said, I'm not going to just mindlessly try to just long and long over and over again. Yesterday, we had this one H4 candle. I saw a bunch of posts of people just
Yeah, I
saying
got
that.
tagged like a million times.
But yeah, for me
No,
this
no,
is
let's
really
move
done,
on. It's genuinely a waste
and
of everybody's
we
time.
can really see this. We can really see this. I think just like if it's just like makes much more sense to me to betting on other layer ones. Especially Solana, I guess that's really the one where all the action is and when all the fun is. But we also had some others that were doing quite well. Obviously, if you take a look, not today, but my kind of biggest like in my opinion, like what the great coins, Sol will I think always be good. I think Solana, how far is it from all time high? It's not that far. Uh, I think it will eventually reach it solely based on the fact that just how much is happening there. Like everyone just trades on Solana these days, and even though it's all shit coins and it's all meaningless.
But people
Uh,
actually use the chain.
Yeah, people actually use the chain, which at the end of the day is pretty important. Uh,
I have few. Let's do the news segment first because then Jesus
yeah,
fuck. 1 second, I'm a
I
retard.
think BTC using technical analysis on BTC pairs.
1 second.
Yeah, I think it's not the worst idea for some trades. I had, I tend to look at the BTC pairs. I think it's a great kind of you know way of doing things, but I need to see the trade on the USD chart first personally. Obviously ETH-BTC is a little bit different solely because ETH is just the second biggest coin, if that makes sense.
So we talked about halving. The fuck out of here. Binance or like new coins. I think we will discuss after we're done with news about like what's doing well today, which is against Solana coins like Jupiter and
Yeah.
whatnot. There's a bunch of new coins being listed and have been listed. That's like Ethena, which I think could be interesting.
It's like a new layer one.
Oof, if I'm not mistaken, it's like the whole stablecoin thing, but I might be completely wrong. Like basically Luna, but different.
That sounds awesome.
If I'm not mistaken, you basically get a massive yield on stablecoins, and how they achieve it is they buy spot ETH and short perps, while funding
Okay.
in bullrun
Yeah.
is retarded, so that's why the yield is so
Okay.
high. But counterparty risk and whatnot, again, I'm not. But I think that will be interesting, simply from like day trading perspective, so we can
Yeah.
entertain different groups of audience, if you will.
And so,
And
you know, it's a new coin. At the end
yes,
of the day, like people just once again keeping it super simple, people just love new coins. One of the kind of the best trade that I had the last week, and I think like in a few weeks, which was like not complete shitcoin, was Ivo. We talked about this on the last stream. And it my whole kind of idea is just new coin, you know. It's I was basically buying somewhere in here. Uh Closed when we pumped, and you know I didn't really there's no uh magical kind of, you know, narrative or whatever. It was just, you know, new coin should pump, it pumped. That's kind of end of it.
yeah. Let me switch to the some interesting things or like stuff I find interesting is I know people like we're down, so people will mock the ETFs, but
Mhm.
the constant, basically non-stop buy pressure from these massive institutions, be that Ethereum, what the fuck, be that ETF issuers, be that Sailor, who bought like another 800 mil, and Tether as well. You know, Paolo.
Yeah,
They basically buying some part of their profits. They just ate Bitcoin, and now they
yeah.
have like $5 billion worth of BTC, which is fucking ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is I find it kind of crazy. Next thing I find interesting is there was like a big period of time where me and you, and it was like a big narrative, right? So like Ababit is doing volume, so the coin is good.
Uh-huh.
And there is this article on CoinDesk that basically volumes are down 75%, which is quite a
That's
lot.
pretty interesting though, like compared to, you know, like you would kind of expect, because the upbit volume was like during the bear market, you know, that was like the main, like when everything was quite down, like the main pump reason was basically the upbit listings. So
Well, but
it's
also
pretty,
just people liking the coins on Upbit. You know, you would
yeah,
see
yeah,
like on CoinMarketCap, Upbit doing 10 times volume of Binance, and obviously you can make of
yeah,
the authenticity of the volume, whatever you want it to be. But point is, like these guys actually move the coins. You know, like
yeah,
sometimes you have
yeah.
these exchanges like random XYZ, and when Upbit was doing most volume, it would. So I think that's interesting, and I wonder to what degree just maybe Koreans started, you know, trading on chain. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And I think that's kind of it from news. I guess kind of goes back to, you know, if you wanna, I don't know how much you have. Like I don't want to open the chart, but like something like Slerf or whatever was supposed to be the.
Yeah. I think these are the ones. I don't know which chart is. Yeah, back to opening Maxi chart. Um, yeah, like Slurf is the one which did like insane amount, like it reached like insane amount of market cap. You know, in like I don't know how much was it. These are kind of not doing that well. I feel like people just like
And do
chase
you think it
the
was just
new.
a rotation, or is it like nature is healing? You know, sometimes.
It's hard to say. Like I feel like mostly people when it comes to on-chain just chase the new stuff. Being, you know, like just trying to get this next 100x. They don't really care that much about, you know, especially like the Bohm thing, you know, which hit like 750 million market cap, I believe, at the highs, which is a lot obviously for a coin within like a day. Like I feel like volumes from these coins just kind of fade away a little bit. There is this one thing, the Popcat, which
Jesus
it's on
Christ.
Bybit. It was listed on Vu today as well. This one is yeah. There's no history on this. It's going to be here. Yeah, this one is still doing quite well. This went from once again nothing. This is like at like 250 mil. But yeah, it's with on-chain. I don't know. It's obviously both of us. We are not the biggest on-chain traders. I had some
Some
trades.
just few 25x's or whatever.
Yeah, I was definitely more lucky than smart with some of the things, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I it's not really that my thing. Just
Yeah.
sitting in the deck screener whole day and looking for like having all these Telegram bots and just trying to, you know, catch the next 100,000x whatever. So Yeah, my focus still being on the bigger coins. Like I said, I think Solana, it's kind of going down now. I'm not sure where I would buy this one because everything seems kind of, moved and tested. The one thing that is doing quite well today is Sui. You can see just solely percentage based, but it's also kind of losing the strength which it had earlier in the day. I mentioned this before the stream, and I can say this here as well. Basically, my plan with a lot of these altcoins, my limits are just so low underneath the price. Like stuff like BNB. My kind of limit buy start around 450, which is obviously uh another 20% down. I have some limits in NEAR, for example. These start around $5, which is another, 25-ish% down. And, I share some of these on Twitter. People were obviously, you can see, for example, NEAR, this kind of start of this move at the yearly VWAP. BNB probably going to be, yeah, pretty much the same. What are some of the others that I would buy lower? I don't even know at this point. But yeah, it's kind of I said this, I mentioned this on Twitter. People are obviously thinking I'm fucking delusional that the coins are not going to go for 40-50% correction. And they don't have to, obviously, but I just feel like a lot of these coins have just like these are like very high risk to reward places to go long. And when you start to think it's almost impossible something is gonna go this low, it's usually the
Much
exact time when
lower.
it's going to happen. Yeah, so yeah, my plan, and I know this is probably the most kind of boring thing you can say, is just like I'm really waiting for like a bigger flush where I would be more than happy to buy FTM. You
Sounded like you heard the ticker for the first time.
No, I was trying to read the comment and someone saying that they longed at 115, and I was like looking what it is, which is basically the kind of the
I mean,
the highs here.
that's
So
very impressive entry.
yeah. So that's like a nice entry.
No, it's just I think like people. I'm sure there's somebody watching being like these two European faggots, boring, patient, sitting on your hand, having no
Yeah.
position is also a position, but it couldn't be more true. Like everything looks. I mean, look. Let's make no mistake. You could find like a structure in lower time frames and just be very aggressive with your
Yeah.
stops. You can, but I genuinely believe it's like minus EV for almost anybody, depending, no matter their net worths and whatnot, or trading style. Like what's the point of longing here when there's no structure? What's like
Yeah. Yeah. And like for example, NEAR is a very good example, just like different price from a couple of months ago. When like NEAR pushed, basically at the end of the December, I just like looked at the daily chart and I was like, okay, this is looking very nice. I'm more than happy to buy this thing, right here. And I'm just gonna set limits, which was, at the time, uh, around 40% lower than where I was setting the limits. And once again, people, it's up only, it's never going down. This is it, blah blah blah, and you can basically see how this kind of played out. And I was just like sitting with that limit for a month, and it's boring. It's not something cool to talk about on Twitter. When you share stuff like this, people just make fun of you because it's obviously never going to retrace that. And it doesn't have to retrace that. It's like obviously
but
there's a
if it
high.
does, it's like free money. That's kind of
Yeah,
the
but
whole thing.
but if it does, your kind of a EV and your risk to reward on the trade itself is just so good, then it's well worth waiting. Basically, my trade on NEAR was something like this. There is unfortunately this part where I closed it somewhere at
That's like, and that's the
midnight.
beauty, and we say it every week. It's like one thing, this screenshot versus actual trade management.
Yeah. This is like the trading views screenshot, and then the actual trade, which was like closed somewhere in this area. That's it is what it is. That's kind of on me, but yeah, the point here is that obviously I just am used to, and I just have zero problems to just like wait for that kind of a best area where I feel like the trade is really worth it, and the you know, the risk reward is so high. And to be fair, you know, like it's just so much stuff, and people get this kind of a idea that their coin is special, and it's not going to care what the kind of market in general is going to do. But to be fair, you know, the correlation is like super high. You know, we can see everything is going down today. Everything
Yeah,
is
that is
going.
horrible for like
Yeah,
if you're long anything,
yeah, you are most
everything
likely
pretty
down.
much underwater. Like anything, almost everything from like last 2 weeks. Even like we're talking, I mean shit like strong coins. You know, I don't mean dog shit like Cardano
Yeah,
or like can we look please at some? I remember some coins from last week. So can we look at Celestia for example?
yeah, like that's like that. That's like, you know,
You know,
Celestia
so
is like.
anybody who bought in, I know people will be like, oh, I bought it $2. Like, then why are you watching these intra-week traders of ours? But you know, this does not look good.
Yeah, yeah,
So this is
definitely.
quite obviously a bottom, probably. But and like BTC is what at 68K. So
Yeah.
if that, I mean, if BTC, I know it's a bit of cope, but like if BTC does go to low 60s or mid 50s, what do you think happens to your favorite altcoin?
Yeah, like you can see even now, like, you know, BTC down 3% on a day. Most of these are like triple that, so you can kind of do the math on how much is going to affect coins. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my plan. Like I said, you know, if you look at the bunch of coins, you know, and you have some basic understanding of price action and stuff, you know, that we talk about here, you it's will be pretty easy to figure out the levels where I'm looking to buy stuff. It's, you know, not really a secret. Obviously, like I said, you know, if I miss these, I miss these. Usually, you know, I have just like bunch of limit orders. Some of them hit, some of them won't. You know, just kind of take it from there type of situation. Um, yeah, I don't know. There is really nothing which is like doing well today.
Jito,
Uh,
Jito and Jupiter.
yeah, we had these two um Solana coins. Yeah, which to basically hit the listing highs on at least Bybit or Binance. Selling off from that. Jupiter, uh, yeah, it's also retracing a little bit, but obviously these are
Compared
very,
to Celestia, for example, it's
yeah, like these are obviously very good because they are still in price discovery. I like to use the VWAPs for this really a lot because it's like the easiest way to actually see like a strength in different coins, you know, without like, or it's the same which, you know, like the peers, moving averages. Just see how this is in relation to the VWAP. As you can see, Celestia is just dead. It's underneath the standard deviations, meaning it's kind of in a downtrend compared to Jupiter, which, you know, is kind of trending higher. If Jupiter is going to kind of come back into the area where it started, which is, you know, around 135, I would be, you know, more than happy to look for some longs if I have signs to go long.
But what is kind of interesting is like we stream once a week, and every week it's different stuff moving. It's kind of hard, and it will sound like we're just bored and lazy. But like, do you wanna? You know, you basically have to always rotate, which I feel
Mhm.
like always leads to people losing money. Like the guy with Phantom comment, like Phantom was the strongest for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Now and like you're shit out of luck because you're down. Well, you know, and it's not like trashy trade, but like the whole current sentiment, how to say it, you know, like the current meta is just rotate, 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 and I feel like there's
yeah,
literally a meme, rotator. Did you see that? Like, it's like the
yeah,
easiest way to lose money, to over
yeah.
rotating
For
from bags to bags.
Oh yeah, it's definitely true, especially if you like start zooming in on the lower time frames. You know, like you will just start changing your biases on all of these things. You know, for me, it's really now it's just like it's either in a obvious very clean uptrend or just kind of dying down, consolidating. Yeah, I feel like, you know, Phantom was a great buy at the start of March, basically a month ago, towards these kind of highs, but even when I hated this kind of sideways price action. This is very kind of a choppy environment compared to I had long basically when we had this kind of clean impulse to the upside, buying the retrace, closing way too soon, obviously, as always. But but yeah, it's I don't know for Phantom. I think really the yearly VWAP for a lot of these coins is a great spot to look at. On Phantom, we have also this kind of support at 70 cents.
Yeah, I
These
kind of
lows right
like it. I
here.
like Phantom because it's
Yeah.
Andre Coronia took like interesting approach. One of the very hyped upcoming projects is Monad, and it's like layer 1 as well, and a lot of like marketing. I don't wanna like I like them, so I don't wanna say buzzwords, but buzzwords is 10k TPS, which is like transactions per second.
Yeah.
And you would have Andre, like obviously the Phantom guy, be like, we do that already. So narratively speaking, I could see that be a Monad beta of sorts, of like the actual anticipation of a launch, which is like still coming up in like quite a long time, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's a dead chain, right? Like nothing is happening there.
But that's the thing, right? Like you have a dead chain of, and I don't want to say dead, but let's say not much happening on chain on Injective doing 40x. So I think it's a bit of European approach to be like.
That's true. That's true.
So sure, they did have. I know there's like a spooky swap.
Yeah, I used to actually trade there in 2021.
So do the ecosystem exist? Yes. Is it all forced or like attention driven? Also yes. I kind of personally just gave up on this mental gymnastics, and I know somebody who might be following me for longer would know that I would be the exact guy to be like, oh, but you have no usage. Like, it's all bullshit in this industry, anyways. Like, Bitcoin being
true.
the least bullshit, obviously, out of them all, because actually boomers care about BTC, but the rest is all bullshit.
That's kind of true. That's kind of true.
Can we look at Aptos?
Aptos, is it? Yeah, Aptos was very strong. I kind of can collect a little bit of clout on this because I believe we talked about this.
We
Yeah,
did.
like last week, I mentioned this kind of a likelihood of a blow off top where everyone is gonna get turbo bullish. And yeah, we had this very quick move, which was what, like 15% move, and we are kind of dying from there. I would expect this, to be fair, to just fully retrace into $12 area, which I'm not short though. So,
But it looks
yeah.
like one of your short setups on the.
Yeah, I was kind of, to be fair, for Aptos, I was hoping. I know this is not the most kind of accurate, but this kind of $20 mark, it's obviously a big round number. There was this kind of a highs from start of 2023 when Aptos had this insane ride. I was, to be fair, I had some alert here. I don't have it anymore. I was hoping that the blow off situation would actually end up at the new highs because that's which would kind of hype most people the most. But yeah, we haven't really done that. Maybe we'll do it, but yeah, it's kind of at the same price which was the week ago. Do I trade the altcoins which I was trading in 2021 the same that I don't know. I definitely closed too early, the same as I did in 2021. Yeah, in 2021, to be the most honest, I had like few like big plays when all the layer ones were popping off and stuff like this, but I was mostly day trading Bitcoin. So I was even like less active trading altcoins in 2021. I was mostly just like holding stuff on higher time frames. But like my strategy and my execution didn't really change that much. I wasn't using that much of a order flow, to be fair. Looking at like open interest and all of that back then.
Somebody asked about legacy markets as well.
I don't know. Like obviously,
all-time
trade.
highs.
Yeah, we can talk about fucking heating oil, which I'm looking to long next week, but no one cares about that. Uh, yeah, the indices are also kind of dying down a little bit. Yeah, ES, the most important one, in Nasdaq, they kind of cooling off. I don't know. It's just I didn't have a trade in the season in quite a while. I was only trading Russell, which is like the least important one. But yeah, this is look like it's weakening a little bit, but at the same time, it's at all-time high. I don't know if I want to really sell that. My approach, to be fair, with Nasdaq, for example, and ES, is very similar to Bitcoin. It's just like look for a correction and then get long when everyone is going to start to saying it's all over, rather than trying to short the top.
It's like shorting S&P is like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably even
and
as more mid curve than anything else. The chart
and
literally
it's
only
been
goes
like
up.
super strong. Like these candles, like you will get rolled over very easily in the S&P. You can see like this is the weekly chart. It's just like up only. We are not even taking like prior week lows. Obviously, there will be the day when this is going to dump like a crazy, but yeah, it's just like very choppy. Then next leg up usually during some news events, and yeah, you can see on the right side I just trade fucking currencies, agriculture stuff, metals, and so on, and I have a lot of trades in these, but not that much trades in indices lately.
I like how we go from bobcats to heated
Yeah,
oil
yeah,
to sit on your hands.
yeah.
This is the most schizophrenic stream.
Alex looks great on weekly. Maybe somewhere here and like 45. Uh, it's not looking. Yeah, this would be maybe a decent spot. To get some longs. To be fair, what I don't like about this is like you can see how much we consolidated here at the highs. So like there is this kind of chance that it will basically do something like this. Because there is like a huge consolidation right above it. So yeah, I don't love this setup, but with that being said, like around under 45, it might be a nice bounce back to like 50-ish area.
As we're streaming, I'm talking shit about the BTC.
Okay, so
I don't know. It's just honestly nothing looked great out of the shit we looked at. Even from like the Jupiter and Jito stuff, like the new coins, they're not that liquid, and the VIX can be brutal.
yeah.
I genuinely believe the best trade right now is to chill. As boring as it sounds, or just do on-chain shit if that's yours. If you're good at it, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah. ONDO, yeah, the whole kind of RWA, the real world assets. I actually spent some time last week looking into this. What are other coins that are usually listed on like Coinbase and such. Most of them are just like 2019 projects that are down billion% from the highs, and they are trying to kind of pivot into the RWA narrative now, which I mean it's fine. For example, something like Ondo, obviously, there's a huge hype. We had actually some longs, both of us, I believe, in the middle of March, in the 50 cents. Once again, I closed them here, so missed this leg up. Yeah, like,
But this is the coin I still like literally the most out of everything in crypto right
yeah,
now.
yeah, it's like you mentioned. I like what you said. I like what you said the last week, or maybe week before. It's like the one of the next easy thing to get like people into the narrative wise, the same similar to the what's the called the deep in all the kind of
Yeah.
blockchain into you into maps and whatever.
Like are we, for
uh
example, or am I?
yeah.
We can
I
look
don't
at the
know,
chart.
like I looked at the ONDO. I'm not sure if like getting 5% yield on the treasury bonds is that
No, Adam.
attractive.
Look. You're already asking too many questions. No. But
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. BlackRock coin. Larry, think.
That's probably true. But
When
yeah,
in doubt,
definitely.
open images Google and open Larry think, and that's your long
Definitely,
thesis.
it's a good narrative. Also, it's still pretty low market cap. This is like 250 million
No, no, no.
probably.
It's like a bill now.
No. Oh, it's like a billion. Sorry, which is still relatively low. I think the whole kind of real world assets is pretty low still, so there might be some room. But from what I looked at, for most of the coins, you kind of need to go off to perps and find them on Coinbase or whatever. What was the thing that you mentioned to look at?
Arweave, AR,
Yeah, that had like a big,
RUSDT.
yeah, that had like a big move. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right here.
That's very. But again, I think the VWAP here at 24 would be very interesting if it gets there.
Yeah, definitely. Underneath maybe these lows.
But
That's a
nobody
nice
wants to
spot.
hear that, unfortunately.
How often do you scan a watch list? What makes you not to trade it? I don't really scan the watch list, to be fair. I'm not really going to like one by one and just drawing lines and stuff. For a lot of the stuff I usually just use the screeners on Livetas, and I also have this kind of a Discord, this private bot which kind of shows things that have moved a lot and kind of take it from there. I rarely kind of just like buy things that didn't move prior. I just usually wait for the move and then just like try to get in on retracement and stuff like that, rather than scrolling through hundreds of coins and looking for the things that I think will be moving next.
I think we discussed this during our run last Friday.
Yeah.
Or like often, but I like how over the years, and it might be complacency on our side, but how much basically screen time I put behind. I just basically came to a realization that me looking at the Bitcoin chart all day long is not any edge whatsoever. And it just tends to make you go full European and trade 1 minute liquidation cascades, which is, I know what I've done for a year, but it's just not very productive.
No, but like for a lot of these things, and like the ONDO, for example, when I longed around this kind of 50 cent mark, at the end of the day, I still believe that like the price action is the best narrative. If stuff goes up, people will just be buying it, and it doesn't really matter if they offer yield on treasury bonds and if whatever is going on there, basically. And yeah, like I just watch a bunch of screeners. The easiest way, just like look at stuff that is strong. For example, today Sui is clearly the best performing altcoin. Obviously, everything is down today, but Sui is down 1% compared to this kind of 5 to 10% range. And yeah, just like buy stuff that people are buying rather than just trying to take it like one by one. We had someone mentioned Litecoin. That was kind of funny. That it's moved a lot. I actually
but at
tried
least
to.
it was a good narrative, at least. Sorry, go ahead.
What was the narrative?
Well, so the whole SEC and whatnot, governmental agencies suing Ethereum Foundation, and the whole staking thing. So basically, proof of work coin, good coin. So that's not that many of them. The OG boomer coins, so Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and even Doge. And I kind of still like Doge into the whole 420. But if Bitcoin nukes, then
I had some orders actually when this is, I believe, when the news came out first. You can see this kind of pop in the open interest, so people started buying. I never got filled. I should have probably been a little more aggressive on these. I usually kind of start to scale in like midway through, similar to Ondo, which also had this kind of one big candle. You rarely get this perfect entry. You should start scaling into the candle. I think I was just too lazy with opening the terminal, and I just placed one order. But yeah, Litecoin had a decent run, kind of already dying.
But that's interesting, right? Like how even these rotations, and it's not just for the Dino coins or proof of work coins, they all last like not much, right? Like there's some exceptions like Bitcoin Cash and Ondo, but apart
Yeah.
from these two, like everything just dies instantly. So it's kind of
What's going on with Bitcoin Cash, by the way? It's
the
just
same
like,
thing. The same thing.
yeah, same thing as the
ETF
Litecoin.
next, bro.
Mm. Yeah, well, yeah, I also tried to long this and I wasn't, haven't had much luck to get in. This is obviously the downside with being old and patient. Um, but yeah, this is a very decent run. If we hit, you can see I have alert at 480. Not sure if I'm gonna get that, but if I'm gonna get that, I will be most likely looking to get long.
I'm just
And
genuinely curious. How the fuck do you have like 11 coins in limit orders there? Do you like maybe if it's approaching, are you more likely to then pick like you know
uh,
what I mean, or do you just YOLO? Like
oh,
say
like you
narrative
mean,
changes. So let's say we flush, right? It hits the area
yeah.
where you want to long 25 coins. Do you then reassess when we actually get there versus
Uh, there are basically two ways. I have like based on like the price action and the way I trade, I have like just areas where I know I want to be buyer. Like for example, render. If we're gonna hit 750, I have a limit order here. I have it since forever basically. Like this is very nice structural level. You can see we like took out these lows. We had a clean move to the upside. There is a Levy web. I'm pretty sure the market is just going to bounce. I'm not saying it's going to new all-time highs from there, but like the likelihood of this bouncing is pretty high. I will take, what I'm gonna be given. But if I'm gonna take a look at like Bitcoin Cash, this is pretty messy. Like on H4 chart, this kind of like fucking hell. This kind of just like grind it up, and there's like not that many untested levels. So for this, I just have a alert, and when we gonna hit that, I will be most likely waiting to see, some sort of like confirmation, signs of strength to go long. And yeah, like usually I don't have like 20 limit orders, there's a little bit of stretch. I have like 5 maybe at the moment. Um and yeah, like from my experience, especially this year, pretty similar stuff happened. I don't exactly remember. I know I was long in Phantom at one point, near in January. Basically, towards like end of January, the near is a good example of this. There were some other coins which I got filled around this area. It's obviously a little uncomfy at the times. You need to be kind of careful because obviously the risk increases. It's correlated markets. If everything dumps, you are kind of fucked. But yeah, from my experience, if the area is really solid, you should see the kind of reaction straight away, and then you can just kind of manage it from there. But like I said, I don't really have more than like 5, and you like risk around 1% from the portfolio, and then what I tend to do is just wait and kind of scale into the trades that are performing the best. So for example, for near, we had this reaction, and then I added a little bit when we had this kind of second pullback. So some coins just don't do so well, so I close them. But then if I am able to catch this kind of a very strong one, I started focusing more on it, maybe add a little bit, and kind of focus basically on what's doing best at that time. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit tricky. It requires I guess a little bit of experience, so you don't end up, just like uh being over leveraged, over risked, and also you need to count on this kind of situation where I have a limit order here and it just does this, and I'm most likely getting stopped out on a bunch of things at the same time. So yeah.
yeah,
Which I
like
guess
near
is
as well.
also kind of like advantage of when you trade with little more money, is that you don't really need to get like risk so much and aim for like a large moves. Like obviously me closing near at 450 and seeing it running to 850 is a little bit stupid, but at the same time it's still kind of a meaningful trade for me with obviously pretty tight stop. So the risk to reward on this was like 41, which I'm more than happy to take and just look elsewhere. For the Telegram bot spotting the unusual volume increases, to be fair, I don't know about any.
Yeah, there are many. Cuban has one.
Yeah, there are many. I'm not looking at volume increases. I'm looking at the open interest changes personally
These
because
bots
I
have
feel
it
like
most of the time.
yeah, like people when it comes to OI, yeah, I'm more interested to see that kind of a directional bias from perps. I have the one guy who
Are you not gonna dock
no,
something?
I'm not
Okay.
going to dox my naked pictures. But I have one guy who is much smarter than me and knows how to code. Just do it in Python and move it into it was at Telegram first, but in the Discord. If you don't know how to code, you can always use Live with Us. Where if you pay for it, this is not Live with Us Shield, they're not sponsoring the stream. You can set up the filters. Basically, you can see I have 100 million OI filtered out, and obviously there's not much here because nothing really changed that much today. But then you can just look at the OI changes. You will see that Jito, for example, had 66% OI change in a bit. But if I, for example, want to decrease this a little bit, then I will see more coins, and usually I look at everything above like 5%. Tends to be interesting, and also the good thing is that obviously like the highest numbers are going to be the biggest pumps, but if you sometimes for like these kind of lower ones, you will be able to catch the moves basically a little bit early, like breakouts and stuff like that. So yeah.
But from like experience, or maybe I would be curious to hear your thoughts. And I think it's the same argument, but like you can only do this so much. Like I get burned out so fucking fast when I do this. Like day trading these and rotating every single day, it's just tiring.
Yeah.
Like the last 15-minute change, right? You can do it for like a year and a half. You'll gain like 20 kilos. You'll become unhealthy. Fuck. It's really getting to a point where I wonder if in bull run this should be how you, how to say it. If that's how you know what I mean? Like that's how you spend your day, because bull run by definition is very taxing for your mental and physical health. So more power to you if you can do it sustainably.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Like
know
all of these
nobody.
bots, like I know Cubans one. It has this kind of like 15-minute OI change, 5-minute OI change, and people like log in and they have these like trading view spaghetti charts, and they just like look at 1-minute changes and just like this insane amount of screen time and focus. And obviously, like I told you this, and I think I even told it like online, like. I did this in 2021, 2022. I looked like fucking I'm dying. I was like looking horrible, feeling like shit as well. And it obviously came to the point where I even wasn't kind of feeling that it's worth the money. So yeah, like my trading nowadays, and I trade not only crypto, I trade all these fucking boomer markets. I sometimes trade stocks as well. But my trading, I was actually counting the time, how much it actually takes me. Usually on Sunday, I go through everything that takes like 2 or 3 hours, and then during the weekdays, around the daily close, so for around 2 hours from now, obviously, crypto daily close is at 2 a.m. our time, so I'm not going to be waiting until 2 a.m. But around like 11 p.m. I just look at all the screeners for crypto, look at the things that move, look at the weekly and daily chart, how we are at the VWAP, where I would be buying, and so on and so forth. That takes me like hour at top. I execute trades on H4 chart, which I can do, that's like doesn't really require much management. Every 4 hours you take a fucking chart on your phone, whatever. So like my trading nowadays is, I hate to kind of promote this, like hands-off approach. You can do this everywhere you want, but to be fair, I really my like actual screen time is 1 or 2 hours a day where I really have to like focus on stuff, look at the charts, go through things, manage the trades that I have open. But I'm not sitting here watching 5-minute candles and who's buying, who is selling, and the liquidation, buying liquidations and all of that basically.
And I think it's like important to kind of talk about the journey of a trader, if you will. I think it's kind of important to go through that period of time where you do that and like basically get to a point where like suicidal, almost like like I don't want to do this anymore. And
it's just 100%. Like I'm very happy that I went through that kind of like sitting in front of screen for 15-20 hours a day and just clicking buttons, because I definitely gained a lot of experience, a lot of screen time. Because it's obviously like the swing trading aspect, and I believe that you also like when we started talking, you were trading 1-minute liquidation wicks. Where now, like, how many trades you took in Q1? It was like
6.
10. Yeah, basically. But
3
obviously
of them being
like,
BTC.
but it's like it sounds like super easy, super stressful, but at the same time, like you don't have, like if you day trade, like and you fuck up something, you're like, yeah, whatever, in a few hours, maybe in a few minutes, there will be another trade, I can make it back or whatever. But like when you like swing trade, like you just wait, and like like you will have not that many shots basically in like overall, so you have to be like super patient. You can like for example last month in the legacy markets, especially in like FX and currencies, I know no one cares, I was like flat the whole month, and then I had like 2 big winners during the FOMC, which it was like 3-day window, and then flat again. So it's just like it can be very hard and very challenging when like, and especially like if you get stopped out and if you lose money, like you need to understand that, okay, I will most likely have to wait another couple days, maybe even couple weeks, to have this kind of next very nice opportunity. And that's why I like when I trade all of these kind of stocks, crypto, and so on and so forth, I usually still it's bunch of markets, I still take like maybe 2 or 3 trades on a weekly basis. So yeah.
And I think also there's no correct answer to this. I think everybody really needs to. I know people, like especially with you, because you're like a big influencer now. No, but like people care about what people have to say and think like they need to copy absolutely everything, which I think couldn't be. I know it sounds like some self-help bullshit from me right now, but you really need to see what fits you. Like, you might literally, the only value you might find in this stream is literally counter trade everything we do, and if that makes you money, God bless, I think it's actually probably very profitable. And yeah.
Yeah, no, like it's really, you need to kind of find what works for you. Obviously, if you plan to swing trade, if you take 1 trade a week, then you kind of need to realize that obviously if you're gonna risk $100 on the trade, you are not going to end up making much. So it's definitely like when a lot of people ask me and when they kind of start, I still recommend day trading to everyone because it's the best way to make money. Obviously now I feel like we both were kind of talking shit about on-chain gambling on coins. Then I had 225x trades and my views changed rapidly in the last couple of weeks, where I obviously feel like it's still a huge gamble, but you can make a lot of money from nothing. But yeah, definitely for that, even though you don't trade like 1-minute chart when you are buying new listed shitcoins, you still need to be at the screen, like the whole slurf thing, which basically went from the guy burning the $10 million he got from pre-sale, and then it rallied to like $250 million market cap. That the whole kind of lore of slurf happened when I was asleep.
Yeah.
Like
it had a
I
full
woke
market
up.
cycle.
Yeah. Like I woke up at 9 a.m. Like the whole thing started at like 3 a.m. and at 9 a.m. when I woke up, it was done. like it was at the all-time high, and it haven't gone higher from there. So I was like, okay, like this is cool. Like I just missed, next generational wealth.
But then how
So
do
yeah.
these people, like, we'll probably close it on the note, but like then this crowd tries to become trading on centralized exchanges and vice versa, right? That's the easiest explanation why me and you, not you anymore, just me now, suck at on chain, is because we literally never do it, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's like analysis paralysis. Like you become quote unquote good at good in our cases, like taking these setups and whatnot, but then like go to on chain and it's like different, speaking Spanish.
Yeah, in my opinion, like, and I'm reading the comment here, like trying to find what works for you in, this is your first cycle and finding the system. Yeah, like it takes a lot of time, like it took me a couple of years to get into the point where I was like, confident with the stuff that I'm doing and it started to work. From my experience, one thing I can definitely say is that like if you are profitable, you will kind of find your way to get money. It's like these days, I'm not going to shill like breakout much. You can get
But
funded trade. There are like prop firms, like if you manage to find the things that work for you, you are profitable, then it's like battle won almost, because
yeah,
then you just grow the account and it just takes time. And yeah,
for
with the whole kind of day trading point of view, and it's not only from me, but a lot of people that I know, like sitting in front of screens for 20 hours a day, it's insane. Like you will just like kind of slowly see yourself spiraling down
yeah,
into the hole, when especially if like I said, for me it really got into the point where I wasn't just happy, even though I was making x amount of money, which was way more money than I was ever making before, but I was just like looking like shit, eating like shit, just sitting at home. And yeah.
it really hits you, right? Like the whole, I wanted to make money, now I have the money, and like I'm fucking miserable anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
And midlife crisis at 25 years old, and or somebody watching maybe at like 21, still studying
Yeah.
university, could buy entire classroom.
So I will just quickly answer this. The statistic on the breakout. Yeah, this is something that we are most likely going to be posting. At the same time, I don't think it's really something that you should care about. To be fair, like there are people that like this is not like trading in general. This is not like a team sport. Like you don't really need to care if other people are profitable. Like as long as you make money, that's the really only thing that matters. So yeah, just really focus on yourself. Obviously, I keep saying that. Like I feel like the city and the whole Twitter is like the
Fucking
worst.
cancer.
Yeah,
Absolute dog shit.
it's like, to be fair, like for your trading, like for trading in general, like the Twitter is like the worst place to ever be in. Like I don't have, for example, I don't have Twitter in my phone. I go to Twitter when I want to post something, or like when I very rarely go to Twitter at all, to be fair. Especially now, like you see someone making 50 figures on chain, and tells you that $10 million is not enough to retire and all this stupid shit. It's just like, if really just focus on yourself, focus on your trading, and you will be more than good. To
And
be
the
fair.
best thing is when like you actually put some effort to share some, like, let's say value, right? Like you, when you spend whatever amount of time trying to put out some content, and then the comments are like, haha, you posted this chart and you're wrong, idiot. And you're like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm
yeah.
out of here, fuck you.
Yeah, I saw someone like posting a trade, like some guy I follow. He made, I don't know, like like closed the trade for 10%, and like people basically like mocked him.
For
Like
making
he
money.
made yeah, like he made a profitable trade. Like it was a really nice trade. Like he captured like 10% move, and people just gave him shit because it's not a fucking 15,000% on chain gem, whatever. But like, yeah, like people just don't understand position sizing, or I don't know. I I'm like beyond the point of caring that
Yeah.
like you can make the same or even more amount of money on 10% move than you will make on 800% move if the sizing is obviously different. And with the large coins with more volume, you can actually size into these things. I said I made 225x trades on chain in March, which is true and it's nice, but also my sizing. Basically, I made the same amount of money on the long, which was like, okay, this was 50% moves. This is quite a lot, but still, like these coins made. It's all relative how much money you put in, and I'm not going to ever put the same amount of money into, something on Solana which got listed 5 minutes ago compared to something that has, trading a lot of volume on centralized exchange.
And I guess the last motivational shit for me is I tweeted something like this was like on CT that like comparison is a thief of joy. Like you might have a good day and like it's for some reason it feels like people almost look for it. They go online to just discredit themselves. Like you had a good day, let's say you make, as you said, like you make 10%, but people go online and just kind of and they it will ruin your day, or not day, but you're not gonna cry over comment, but you're like people are just big digheads, and the whole somebody made more than me and people then start comparing and just like who gives a shit. I mean, if you're making money consistently, that's what it's all about. And join our paid group, which we don't have.
Cool. Okay, so it's been an hour. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for joining. Like I said, if you want to support the stream, and thank you Wu for supporting us, you can register using the link in description. We will be back probably next Tuesday because we are both not available during the weekend. But yeah, we will be definitely back. Hopefully, Bitcoin is going to be at the different
Same
price
price.
than it is now.
And if BTC lower and both of us traveling on vacation.
Cool. Okay. Thank you guys for joining, and we will catch you up